All right, everybody. Um, I want to welcome everybody to another Ivinex online training. Let me make sure everything's working here. Screen sharing is good. We are recording this. All right, so this is another webinar. This one is on display colors. It's a new feature in Ivinex, and we're going to learn about how it works and strategies for getting the most out of it. A couple quick notes is that this is going to be interactive. If you notice on your Join Me tool toward the top of your screen, there should be a chat bubble icon on there. You will be able to click that and ask questions. I'll do my best to answer your questions and also show a working example. The only audio that will be on is my own, just to keep noise down, but feel free to ask questions. Let's see, I think that's it. We're gonna get started here. So display colors. Let's go to my first slide here. All right, display colors. It's a very simple tool. It's a simple tool that was recently added to a newer version of Ivinex. The version is 4.3.1. If you are on that version or any newer version, display colors is available to you. And what it's really used for is a way to create color differences between records. And the color differences only appear in record list windows. As you can see here, there's a couple different ways. There's this whole entire row color, and that's an example of that. And this is an example of just one cell this is a table, just one cell being colored versus saying the whole row. So you have both options available to you. I'm going to jump into my demo site here so I can show you where to find the display color tool. Let's jump in there. Okay, I'm going to zoom in just a little bit. Okay, once you're in your site, of course you have to be an admin to access display colors. Just go up to the wrench and click on admin. And the display colors are per module, so you'll need to select a data module. I've got these demo modules here. I'm going to pick demo opportunities. And from the module here, you've always had import data, displayed related items. That's always kind of been there in the default filter. But in between now, there's this new one called display colors. So when you click it, it opens up the tool where you can build your color rules. So that's where you find it in the admin tool in your module details. Excuse me. All right. So when you very first start out and you're looking to create a new color rule, you'll click the new button and it'll immediately show a line here with some different things that you can fill in. So the basic idea is we already know what module we're using. So as before I showed an opportunity module. So we don't need to pick a module. The first field that we can pick or the first setting is we determine which field we're going to base, we're going to use for showing this color. And so all of the fields in the current module that you're in will be available in the drop-down. So you just pick a specific field from that module, and that's going to be where we start. The next setting is the value. So, for example, if I had a field called color, and if the value was red, R-E-D, and that's what is stored in that field, then this would evaluate to true, meaning I've matched it exactly. So then I would want to maybe color all records in the record list. The text might be a different color, or even the background could be a different color. for all of the records where the color was equal to red in that field. And on the last setting here, you have two settings. You can do the entire row like I showed before, or you can pick a specific displayed cell to color. I'm going to jump in here real quick and kind of show you that. So for this one, I'm using a field called sales stage. I'll discuss what this means here in a minute, but I'm looking to match a value. And for this first one, I'm looking to color a cell that I'm showing called name. And these are all the ones that I've chosen to display, and they are your column headers. Name, I'm showing these, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and I'm looking to show color the name column cell. So that's one way to do it. The other one is the whole entire row where the value, is found in my records. Let's go on the front end here, and we'll click on Demo Opportunities, and we'll see this in action. So obviously one of my color rules is to make the whole row yellow based off of sales stage. If negotiation obviously is the one that makes it yellow. Any of them that are 1, it's green. Sent proposal goes red. And then that other one was if it's a lead, then just color the name of that record. So right here. Alrighty, back to here. So which fields can we use for evaluating for color rules? You have a lot of different kinds of fields that you can create in Ivinex. And I've listed out some here that the ones that you can use, but some of these in here are more usable, if that's even a word. Some work better for color rules than other ones. Text is a good one, really good one, because the bottom line here is that whatever the value is that we're looking to match, it has to match exactly. So the date, could work, but the problem is that it would only work once, because you'd have a value in here of maybe, the 2nd of September, 2013, and that's what I'm looking to match. And on that day, this color, would be in effect, and then the very next day, it wouldn't. So there's no way to do a range. You can't say between this day and that day or today or anything like that. It has to match the exact value of what is stored in the field. So that's why a text one is good. Date and time, you can use them. Not that, it's not that good. Integer, that's a really good one because it's always going to store some kind of number. A decimal, that's a good one too. Checkbox is normally true or false. So also a very good one to use. Some of these other ones, phone numbers, select is good, but there's some tricks for that one. Radio and select, there's a trick I need to show you. Linked record can also work. And as you can see, a bunch of these are good, but some will work better than others. Okay, so I'm going to, before I do this, I'm gonna go back to the beginning here. Okay, so in the administrator tool, a couple things I need to point out here real quick. Now the value on this display color, in fact, I'm going to make a new one here really fast. So let's do this notes field. That's just a text box, so it can really be anything can be stored in there. So I'm going to make a new color rule where notes, and I'm going to look for a value of, color me or mo, color me. All right, and if I have a record where exactly that is stored in this field, then I want to, do some coloring. Now, when you go to pick your colors, we have a tool, this color tool for picking your colors. It's pretty good. It does have a couple limitations, which I'm going to point out. But it goes in this field for the color is the special code, and it's kind of a long time ago they kind of standardized colors that are displayed on the web. this is called a hex color. Every color you pick will have some kind of hex code. So if I pick that one, it's represented by this code. So I could just say, yep, I like that one. So now the background color, our tool here it shows you what color it's going to be. Anyway, there's a few things that you can't do in this very easily. You can't pick white. It's a limitation of ours. And, black, you kind of can if you get it just maybe. Possibly. Oh, right there, I got it. 0, 0, 0, 0. That's black. Anyway, you can use our color tool, but you're not limited to it. You can also use some other tool. I'm going to click a link over here, which should open another tab, and I'll show you another color picking tool that you could use. There's a whole bunch of these on the web. Any color tool where you can just pick it, it generates, a code like that. This one has different hues, so I could pick, pink, and then it's got all these different hues. So if I pick that one now, it goes darker. And then all you need is just this code right here. You could copy that, come back in, and paste that in. And then I'm going to do, the entire row is fine. So I'm going to save that. All right, so now I need a record to match that. So I'm going to go back to the front end. And let's pick this one since it doesn't have anything. Color me. Hope this works. Okay, let's refresh that. Okay, so it did work. It matched that color rule matched what the value was in there exactly, and so it colored the whole row the color that I picked. Now, if I haven't selected it, there's a couple things that I need to talk about with the theming of Ivinex and how you may want to work with that. I'm going to click this one more time. As you can see, that's a pretty dark color, and the text that is black by default. So it makes it hard to read. Now you can override that. You can also set the text color as well. Right now it's set to nothing, but you could set it to really anything. I'm going to pick like a light yellow or something. Save that. Okay, so there you go. Now, by default, the current theme that you're using, you may get different colors like blue or green or something like that. And when you move your mouse over these records that have the whole entire row colored, you'll notice that nothing really changes. You don't get any visual representation that I am over that record until I get down to this one right here. The background changes. And that's kind of what the theme, your Ivinex theme, does by default. It will try to highlight the field or the row that you're over, and when you click it, it will use the theme color, change the text to white, and the background to a selected color so that you can visually see I am on this record. And when you do the display colors and you color the entire row, you're kind of overriding that. Your preference overrides the theme. So if I select this one, it stays exactly the same as what you specified in the color rule, and you do not get a highlight that you are on that record. So something to think about when you're doing whole entire rows. I can see that it's useful, but a lot of times you may just want to color certain cells in the table so that you can, one, get the mouse over effect like this and visually see which record you've selected. All right, so let's go back to here. Okay, so picking colors, all you need is a hex code. If you have Photoshop can take pretty much you can pick a color right out of a photograph and it will tell you what is the hex code. There are online tools as well for doing it. So let's here. All right, so I'm gonna go. I've got two different modules that I'm working on here. I've got opportunities. This has a whole bunch of color rules, and I've got this support ticket one. This has got a couple color rules as well. So let's jump into the admin, and we will work on those. So for support tickets, I've got a few of these. If my agent, which is represented by this field here, which is a user field, it looks to your Ivinex users. If my agent is not assigned, or the value is 0, which represents a blank for some fields, that's one of them. User 0 means no user picked. Then I want the text color to be this and the background to be that, and then just highlight the agent field. For the status, there's a trick on a few of these fields that you use. Status is a select. So it looks like this. It's a select field. And you can add, of course, as many options as you want. But the system doesn't match on the name or what you see like that, new, because I can change that. It could be new, and then, somebody could come along and call it new, newest, the new, whatever you want to have it say is one thing. What we're going to match it on is the ID of that value, which is right here. So for selects, select field types, just know that you're going to need to match it on the ID of the value that you, not what it says, but the ID of that option from the select box. So if I pick new, that is actually ID 12761. So that's why that's right here. Okay, radio buttons. I don't have one on here, but radio buttons work exactly the same. You can have as many options as you want, and each one of those options are going to be represented by the ID. It's going to have an ID and what you see, what you read as the option. So you'll need to match it with the ID. With text boxes, like this one, it's display type text, you would want to match the exact value, just like I did on that color me rule that I built. This can be anything. Text boxes support text, numbers, letters, all sorts of stuff. So, but just know that you have to match it exactly. Linked records are probably one of they're the trickiest ones to understand, I think. A linked record is used to look into another module and pick a record from there. So if I click that, I'm going to look into I'm on my support ticket module. I'm looking into my contact module, and I'm going to pick a contact from there. So when I select one, what shows up in there? Well, that's where you configure this part, first name, last name, that kind of thing. Let's show it on the front end. My contact is first name, space, last name, space, their phone number. Okay, so what does this field really store? Does it actually store all of this? Do I need to match all of this text exactly for my color rule to work? The answer is no. It doesn't. It ignores all of that together. In fact, the only thing it truly stores is the ID of the record that you picked, and that would be the record ID. In a lot of your systems, it may not be displayed by default, but you can choose to display it. Record ID for this one is 2. So if I created a color rule for a linked record and the value I'm looking for is 2, then we would have an exact match. If I tried to create a color rule for a linked record and tried to match it to Mary, it would fail because that's not truly what is stored here. That's just what's displayed, just like a select box. That's probably one of the most confusing things about setting up these color options. So does anybody have any questions about that part, about linked records, select boxes, radio buttons, those kind of things? Any questions at all? If you do, please submit them via chat. I don't see any questions, so okay, hopefully that was nice and clear. Okay, great. All right, so let's see that one in action. I'm going to take these rules that are in effect here, and I'm going to create a new record because the way I've got this set up, it has the possibility of showing multiple colors. If my status is equal to new, or ID 12761, and my agent is not assigned, then I'm going to color the agent field yellow, and I'm going to color the status field red, so showing two colors at the same time. So let's see if that works. We're going to create a new support ticket, and we're going to pick somebody, and new, and I don't know, test. Save that. Okay, so there we go. I now have my status is new. It's red with a white text. You'll notice that as long as I'm only coloring a couple of these, I'm still getting the highlights. And if I pick that record, I can visually see which one I picked. Ignore that. That's just set up there as a alert matrix thing. I'll turn that off here in a minute. But here's what we're showing. Status is new, red, and I've highlighted the agent cell here with yellow because it's not assigned. These ones are all assigned. So let's change that. Let's actually assign it to somebody. Update that. And then reload that. Now I still have the new color in effect because that's matching one color rule. But my yellow background went away because this is no longer blank or zero. Okay? So that's one way to do it. You can do multiple colors. Again, let's go over blanks. That's one thing you can use. You can use blanks. All linked records are represented by a 0 for a blank. And text fields, you actually just leave the value option blank. So I can say description, and then I just put nothing here. And I'll say make the color, I don't think I have purple yet. Let's do purple, and we'll color the, priority for fun. Okay. So let's see if we have any like that. Yep, okay. So out of all those records, this record and that record, they do not have anything in this field right here. My description is truly blank. So you can do that with, let's see, text fields. You can leave this one blank. You can do it, the date would work good there. Date and time, if those were blank, that's a good time to maybe, show a color, and then when it fills in, the color goes away. I'm trying to think if there's, check boxes. That's going to be true or false, and I should probably demonstrate that one. Let's make a new one. Check box. Show you how to use that one. Okay. So there's my checkbox. Now checkbox is a little different. Let's see, let's find my new field, checkbox. Is it in here? No, because I still have this open and it's not aware of that new field. So let's reopen it. Is it in there? Yes. Okay, so checkbox. Okay, checkboxes actually store in the database. It stores a value of true, like that, lowercase true, or you could even do it uppercase, or all caps. True means checked, or false means not checked. So let's continue with my purple color here. Setting priority. They're all going to be like that because I just created this field and none of my records are going to be checked. So click save. And there we go, all of them. So let's check that. Save that record. And now that one is good because I was looking for false, not true. Okay, so that's checkbox. Actually, I'm going to delete that out. Delete that rule. And delete that field. Okay, so that's that part. Oh, look at me. I'm so fast that I just already talked about all of this on this thing here. Anyway, I do recommend leaning toward highlighting specific cells. It just usability-wise, it'll work better with the theme. And so when you do switch the theme, you'll also you get that highlight of what record I've selected. I do recommend that part. I think it just works better for people. And white. Let's talk about white. There's one thing that might be a little confusing, is that since we're trying to display the color in here that is going to be shown for the background, the lighter it gets, the harder it is to read in there. That represents black, but there is a value in here. And because it's white, you can't see it. We're evaluating what to do with that at the moment. But currently, if you have the hex color white, which is that one, then you can't see it. So we'll figure out something for that. But for now, just know that pound 6 capital Fs equals white, and that's one way to do it. Or you could pick any other color that's not white, maybe just like very, very light, something like that. That's pretty light. That would be a strategy for that. Okay. Now, how can we... oh, wait. I do have a question here. Is there a way to sort by color? No. There's no way to sort by color. What this does, there's really only one purpose for it, and that is to make this look ridiculous like this. No, I'm just kidding. The real purpose of this is to just create a visual color difference. That's it. Nothing else. It doesn't work with your filter. There's nothing else that you can do other than color something. But the thing is that these color rules are based on real data. Okay? So if you're wondering, can I sort by the color red? No. But can I sort by the value that makes it red? Yes. So the value that makes this one red is new. The value that makes this orange is assigned, and green is in process, at least for this data module. So your filter is based off real data, not the color that is the background or the text color. So you can sort it like you've always done. Just base it off of, if you want all the red ones first or something, just build a filter that sorts new, first, something along those lines. I hope that answers your questions about sorting. It's just display only. That's it. That's the only thing you can do with the color rules. But it also, instead of just being in this window right here, it also translates to related areas as well. So if I go to like a contact, pick this one, I don't have any color rules set up for this module, but as I scroll down, I've got support tickets here and opportunities here. And so any place where we're showing a record list, this is a related records, and it's a list of records, the color rules are in effect. So it can be helpful here or, in your main window up above. So those are the two places that you can see the color rules in effect. And probably the next question or the next thought would be, well, how can I do something more advanced? I just want to color something, in a special circumstance, or the color rule is not powerful enough to match my criteria. The idea there is to use, workflows and other types of things to modify your records. And as long as you can always match some value exactly, then you can use the color. Okay, so for this one, maybe I've got a support ticket. I'm just going to give you an example. When this is created, I write out the date and the time. When it changes from new to assigned, I write out the date and time. Same for in process, same for closed. What it's going to do, it's also going to calculate certain things as well, like numbers. It's going to figure out the difference between when was it from the day it was created to when it moved to assigned. What's the difference between those two? This down here is going to total all that up. What's the total time for all of this in minutes, hours, days? Anyway, there's a bunch of different stuff going on here just to get some statistics, which I could possibly use. So I'm not sure if this is the best example, but for example, if the hours were 1, if it was equal to 1 hour total on a ticket, then maybe I could use that piece of data to create a color to bring it to someone's attention. And it's always going to be based off the real some real piece of data to display the color. Are there any other questions on that part? Just trying to think of a couple other maybe advanced examples. As long as we just keep in mind that it's always based off real data, and as long as you're matching the right kind of data, whether it be the text or an ID of some option, you can use workflows to change a bunch of stuff behind the scenes and modify something and then change colors based off that real piece of data. The sky is kind of the limit as to what you could do with the workflows and when you display your colors, whether they be very simple like these or some advanced process that only in special circumstances changes the color. I think that's about it for this webinar. It's a very simple tool. I'd be interested to see how different people use it. If it's not available to you, again, you just may not have a newer version of Ivinex, let me know or send us an email to get upgraded if you're not yet if it's not available to you yet. And I'll just take a quick minute here to see if there's any other questions, and then I think we've about covered everything about display colors. Any other questions? Nothing. Okay. So maybe I've answered all the questions. All right. So we'll just finish this up. All right. So again, I just kind of close out like this on all these webinars. On our training site, training.ivinex.com, I post all of these webinar videos. I've also got tutorials on everything that I'm pretty much covering. There is a display color tutorial on that site. If you have comments, if it helped you do something, or if you had a question still, feel free to comment there. I will respond. If there's someone in your company that is not yet on the webinar, they're not getting emailed when the webinar is scheduled, there's a tool in the bottom right of the training site. Just put in, have them put in their email address, click submit, they'll be on the list, they'll get notified. I'm also adding all webinar events to the Facebook page, our Facebook page. You can also confirm that you're attending there if you like. You can also comment there. How to get there. On the training site, we have an icon bottom right, Facebook, and on the Ivinex site, it's also down there on the bottom right. So that's about it. I'm trying to remember what we have up next. I think permission-based stuff is what we're going to be dealing with the webinar. But I'd like to thank everybody for coming out, or attending this webinar. And I look forward to seeing you guys in the next one. Thanks so much.